Hey team, and welcome. I'm your host, Carrie, creator of Mother Life, your destination for all things real talk and parenting. This is the IRL group chat, where we talk about the wild balancing act of pursuing careers and passions while also doing our best to show up for our kids. Join me every week as I sit down with some badass parents in my closet and we talk about their careers, kids, and relationships and all of the weird shit that comes up when you're trying to balance the seemingly impossible. We have had so many wonderful entrepreneurs on the pod, and I think there's something drawing them here. And it's not what you might think. It's vulnerability. Long taught that being vulnerable is risky, particularly in business, it's really easy for us to all build walls around ourselves to keep from hurting, from being judged, from being sidelined as a consequence of our demons. The same can be said of parenting. But what we do here week in and week out is uncover how people's vulnerabilities, my own included, have in some way become their superpower. That by opening ourselves up to being vulnerable, we're also allowing ourselves to fully be seen, and what a relief that is. This week on the pod, we've got Walla, the founder of Auggie, an app, a platform that is bringing community and sharing off the siloed parent-centered group chats and into one place, so we can all benefit from each other's insights, research, and hot takes, and then, where relevant, shop the recommendations. Genius. What shines through in this conversation is how much we can all gain by just holding and hearing each other, being vulnerable. As someone who has never really met my TMI limit, it was wildly fun to find my match in Lily. From medications to discharge and leakage, from fear of failure to exploring the what-ifs of our career paths, to how paradigmatic a shift it can be bringing a new kid into the family, and how intensely emotional, the good and the bad, that can feel. It's all here. Come get vulnerable with us and let me know if you agree that Lily would actually crush it on Survivor. Enjoy.
I've been saying, my water could break on this, and I think that would make great content.
Truly only you. You know, did your water break with your first?
Yeah.
So, did you know that's what was happening to you?
Well, so it's weird because I was peeing.
Wait, were you actually peeing?
I was sat down to pee, peed, and also my water broke. So I was like, is that right?
In the movies, when somebody's water breaks, it's a very iconic moment. There's a gush and it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I think I had been leaking for about a week, and it was during the pandemic, so they weren't really checking. They were just you seem fine, don't come in. They were trying to keep everyone from coming in. I'm I feel like I'm leaking. It doesn't smell like pee, because obviously you're at the stage of pregnancy now where, or at least I was, a fucking scientist, up in my discharge. Is this a plug? Is this what's happening? And I'm smelling this liquid, trying to figure out what it is. And they're no, I think you're good. And then I went for a stress test, past my due date. And I was I'm so embarrassed. I have no bladder control. I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing. And they're you're not peeing. Your water just broke.
Oh my God.
And they're you can't go home. We have to admit you. You can't go home now.
So you didn't have any of your stuff. I need to pack my hospital bag.
I had all of my shit in the car. He was in denial. So, he left me at the hospital to go deal with the dog and get his shit. And I'm you should have... what women have been saying to men for centuries, you should have just fucking listened to me and we wouldn't be in this pickle right now.
We can go down a whole rabbit hole on that.
Just fucking listen to me. I know best. Welcome to the virtual closet, Lily.
Thank you so much. I'm so usually excited. In a closet, so
I'm very happy to be talking to you. How many weeks pregnant are you currently?
It's my second, so do we ever know? 36 and a half.
Okay, so we're close, but we're not. You're not gonna have a baby on this podcast today.
We're close, but there's definitely movement happening. Yeah? I don't know. It feels.
Are you inspecting your discharge?
Of course, every time I go to the bathroom. In fact, every morning I have a little leakage, and I'm is that my water breaking? But then it's not.
Do you have a friend in your life that you send pictures to of your poop and your discharge? I definitely have a couple, and they're sending them to me being is this my plug?
Yeah. I've definitely gotten the plug text. I wouldn't say that I'm the sender of those things, but I am often a receiver.
And are you like, when I get texts like that, I'm amped. I mean, you basically started an entire app for people like us who like to share the wisdom and knowledge.
Overly share. Yes.
Yeah. So I imagine, but like when somebody asks me my advice or opinion on something, I am so like chuffed that they want to know what I think about something.
What an honor, right?
Yes, that's totally how I feel. Like it's such a compliment when somebody asks for your opinion.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
By the way, is this a video podcast?
I wasn't planning on it.
Okay, great.
Let's just be let's be comfy.
Yeah, so I can lean back.
Lean back, be cozy, girl. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, I have Nutella spilled on my shirt. My husband is literally gonna murder me because I'm keeping pliable in business. I am ordering oatmeal with Nutella and all of the toppings daily. It's like
what is pliable?
Pliable is like a acai oatmeal smoothie type of place.
Oh.
My daily order is like $27 for my oatmeal. And he's like, you could make this at home for literally a penny. And I'm like, have you seen me?
Yeah, what's his name?
Samson.
Have you seen her? Also,
yeah.
You make the fucking bowl.
Yeah,
Samson.
You make the bowl. Samson.
I forget. Does he work from home or no?
Well, so it's funny, he doesn't, but today he is, and I can hear him, like, screaming. I'm like, Samson, I'm recording a podcast.
Samson, be demure.
Yeah.
We're recording. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to do this with you. We're going to start, as you know the drill, from Little Lily up until today, about to pop. We're going to cover your sort of career trajectory and interests and get into it and talk about this stage of life, because you are at such a particular moment. Like, I just remember, obviously everybody's different, but for me, I was so emotional around where you are right now about what this was going to do to my first kid.
Oh my God, that is all I'm thinking about.
When you were preparing for your second to arrive. And it's like, I just remember like a feeling of grief.
Mourning.
Like just
I feel mourning.
Like mourning. Yeah. I just felt really like, I felt sad for him and for the status quo. And I remember I had a scheduled induction. We dropped him off at school and I just lost it in the parking lot. Like I was going off to war when I was really going to Cedars-Sinai to have a chocolate chip cookie. But I just remember like, oh my God, I am changing his life. Is this the right thing to do? Even though I knew it was the right thing, it really surprised me how sad I felt.
It's funny that you say that because I'm definitely, or not funny, I mean, it's like very relatable and the state that I'm in now. And I was talking to Samson and I was like, we had a dog we adopted very early on into our relationship. And I was like, oh, I don't even remember our relationship without the dog. And then we had the dog, right? And the dog became our whole life. And then we got married and got pregnant and had Jackson. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even remember our life before Jackson. But like every phase of your life. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, with this baby, is now this baby going to come? And I'm not going to remember life before this baby. And that made me so sad because we've had this incredible 4 years with Jackson that like I'm sad for him, I'm sad for us, I'm so excited for him too, right? Like to give him this gift of a brother, but like shit's about to get rocked. Yeah and it's gonna be different. So I guess the question is then to you. I just leaked a little, by the way.
Oh, good. Thank you for the update.
You're welcome.
You guys, we might get a gusher on the pod. And usually they cry, but like liquids can come out of any orifice on this pod.
I was going to say, like, you're getting me. You want to talk about Little Lily till now, and you're going to expect me to be this pregnant and not cry?
Oh, anyway, that happens no matter what.
Okay, cool. I kind of send the question back to you. Like, do you remember life before your second?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Unequivocally, yes. And I think actually, you know, having just been back in New York this week, we've only been back once. So we lived in New York until my son was 1. And then we moved to LA. And we've only been back once with him prior to this trip. And going back with him and being there, like, not only did it remind me of my life before our daughter, but it reminded me of my life before him.
That's
in a
nice.
way that was like kind of important. And every time we tried to catch up with friends, like college friends, work friends, whatever. And every time I saw somebody, I just started crying because it was like, oh, you know me. You've known me for so long. Whereas when you move to a new place, it's like people know you only for where they're meeting you in your life.
Yeah. Which is a blessing in its own way, but also hard.
It can be, yeah, because, they only are operating on the information that they see and that they're given. Whereas, seeing my college friends, and I studied broadcast journalism, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you're finally doing this. Like, this is so what you were supposed to do.
History is important. And also, like, I feel like they've probably met your family. Like, there's just a different level of intimacy there.
They're asking me about my parents, my siblings. Like, they know everybody. They came home with me for spring break,
Of course.
When you're being a fucking idiot, 19 years old or whatever.
So yeah, sorry, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, not sorry. So it was very nice in that way to just be reminded of like a different phase of life. But absolutely, I remember the time, but it's also like, I think you can kind of choose to visit it. That's the other thing I'll say. Like, I'm trying to be much more like intentional about like, not all the time. I'm not like a Zen monk, but like just sitting around being like, I'm going to take a minute to think about what it felt like, what it was like when I was in this moment with this person, whether that's my son or a friend or my significant other.
Or yourself.
Or myself. And I found we don't have time to do shit like that. Like, we're busy people, but taking a couple of minutes to just like remember a relationship and what it felt like at a certain moment in time, I think has actually been, it's such a, seems like such a simple thing, but it's actually been really powerful.
Yeah, it feels kind of healing as you talk about it. Yeah. I like that a lot. Okay, good. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, you'll remember Jackson. And when you do inevitably scroll through your phone at 3 a.m, I don't know, whatever feeding you're doing, you'll be up at 3 a.m. You'll look at pictures of Jackson as a little kid, and you'll remember that the other one wasn't there.
Crazy. It's crazy. Okay.
So little Lily grew up in the city.
Yes.
You're like a proper city kid.
Proper city kid, Upper East Side gal.
And did you go to Dalton?
I did.
So obviously a school that if you don't know a lot about New York, you've probably heard of Dalton.
Yeah, it has a stigma. I was
going to say reputation. Is it a stigma?
I don't know. It depends on who you talk to. It's known to be a progressive school, very academically rigorous, not the best for little Lily.
Yeah.
But I was there kindergarten through 12th grade. So my whole young academic career, and I don't know anything different. And I will say that the majority of my network to this day has come from Dalton.
So that's exactly what I was going to ask you about, because, there's this, and this is an extremely privileged topic I'm about to bring up, and I'm going to preface that right now by saying not everybody even can entertain this discussion. But for those who are questioning, do I send my kid to the local public school or do I send my kid to private school? There's a lot of ways that people weigh that, right? It's similar going to a place like Dalton or like doing an MBA at Harvard is like, part of it is the network.
Yep.
Whether or not your parents are consciously doing that for you or to you, however you look at it, there's this like value of the network of being in a place where there's like a shared ambition to be successful or whatever it is, that I think often is attractive to some people, the private school route, versus the public school route, which is, I think, is seen more as like being rooted in your community and being able to see the same kids at the playground and investing in where you live.
Yeah. I will say I'm in that position right now of evaluating like public versus private, and my experience was very different than like the typical elite kid that goes to Dalton. My parents are divorced. My mom is a very hardworking psychologist. She to this day sees like 10 patients a day.
Wait, same. Also divorced
my
parents. Also divorced parents. Also very hardworking to this day psychologist mom.
Wow, I love that. In New York?
She splits her practice between New York and LA.
Okay. All right, we'll talk about that more.
Yeah.
Anyway, my mom had a 2-bedroom rental, and I lived in the converted bedroom that was the living room. She provided everything that I could ever want, like the $200 disgusting ripped jean shorts to like sleepaway camp, but she worked her ass off, and I'm sure my grandparents in some ways helped along the way. And then my dad grew up in Portland, Maine, met my mom, moved to New York. I think like never should have been in New York from like just like a how fucked up it makes you from a money perspective. And when they got divorced, he actually moved into a 1-bedroom apartment. My sister slept on the living room couch, and I slept in a pull-out couch in the bedroom with him. And that fucks you up. Am I allowed to curse? Because I have already 3
There's
times.
a lot of cursing on this. It's actually kind of like part of our USP.
MO?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that really fucks with you when you are literally around billionaires. I would go from a mansion in the Hamptons or a private plane to literally like sleeping in the bedroom with my dad. And I'm not saying like, oh, feel bad for me, woe is me, but like there was so much shame and guilt and like feelings that I needed to hide that from my peers, that I was embarrassed. And that is confusing when you're that little. Like my mom tells this story that like I asked for Manolos for my bat mitzvah. And
oh my
like,
God,
who are you?
But for me on the much smaller scale, it was like I wanted to be shopping at Limited too. And my parents were like, there's no way we're spending $50 on this like shitty sweater. Like, you can go to Target and whatever. And all the other girls at my school had the stuff from Limited too. And I just felt so left out. Yeah. Or that there was something wrong with me.
And it has definitely impacted my relationship with money even to this day.
I'm very nervous to spend money, even if we can afford something. And like currently, and you know this as an entrepreneur, like I'm in this building investment phase in my own business, and every couple of months I'm like, should I just get a fucking salary job? And just because it feels so insecure, it's scary to me.
Every couple of months, that's me every day. I'm like, you know what sounds pretty good right about now? Maternity leave.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Well, that's the thing. So for you in this situation right now, like you're an entrepreneur, and we're going to get to that later down the line, but are you going to just like have your phone in labor and delivery? What's the plan?
That is the plan. I ran a much different business for 9 years before I started Auggie, and that is the business I welcomed my son into the world while running. It was a much different beast. I had to be in a commissary kitchen.
This was when you were making like edible logos and things?
Exactly. So the business is called Spots. It's promotional products in the food space. So we would customize cupcakes and candy and dog treats with any type of edible image. We had a big D2C business, but how we ultimately scaled
direct to consumer.
Direct to consumer. Good job. Through dropship partnerships with companies like 1-800-Flowers and Chewy.com. So we handled all the personalization for food orders for those businesses. And let me tell you, I was back at work 10 days after a C-section fixing edible printers from China with a man on WhatsApp named David, taking out the motherboards and replacing them. And I don't wish that upon anybody.
Let alone yourself?
Yeah, relying on just hourly employees who don't show up. You know, it's just like a much different business from this one. So you ask about maternity leave and what that looks like today. I'm just thankful I can do it from my bed and a computer, and I don't have to drive to Long Island City.
Okay, so there's a silver lining, sort of.
There's a silver lining.
I forget, your husband, you said he works out of the house usually. Is he in a totally different industry?
Yes, he works in mental health and is usually in the office like 4 to 5 days a week. But
Okay.
he's taking 6 weeks, so I'm
Great.
excited.
Okay.
And with our first, he was at Uber and he actually took 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how was he using that time? I mean, it's just interesting because there's obviously, or I don't know, obviously, but I know quite a few men who have paternity leave as an option and they feel like either they can't take the whole thing because it will have a negative impact on their career, or they just don't actually want to be home that much.
Yeah, he loved it. I would say, like, again, this is coming from a place of privilege, so I know this is not the case for everyone, but we also don't have parents that could move in and, like, help. So we had a night nurse for like 5 weeks. And so there was definitely golfing and hanging out with me, but overall, he was like very involved, and I was so depressed. So, and also working, and I wasn't resentful, but I was jealous of what he got to have with our son. But no, he showed up in a really nice way, and I think it was really special for him. I don't know about the career aspect because he had been at Uber for so long and ultimately didn't go back after the pat leave, which is
Yeah.
also relatively common.
Yeah. I didn't
Um,
go. I had a 6-month maternity leave with my first and didn't go back.
Exactly. Like he got this job during pat leave. So then there was also like some interviewing, but overall, no, he was like really wonderful, and I expect him to be the same, almost more so with our toddler this time around.
Oh yeah. I feel like that's kind of, or at least that was the dynamic in this house is my husband said he felt like, and everybody's experience is different, but in this house he felt like it was a seismic shift for him the second, because like
Mm,
there was no hiding. Like you can't take a shit for 20 minutes by yourself.
no.
Like there's going to be a kid in there with you, because especially in those early days, like it's man to man. Like everybody's got to be covering something, and there's just fewer places to hide. Whereas often whoever is considered maybe the primary parent in a house is used to being on all the time.
Yep.
And so then everybody kind of has to be on all the time.
Yep. I can definitely see that
Now, you
happening.
mentioned that you were super depressed after the first one.
Yeah.
Did you know at the time that you were? Did somebody have to point it out to you? Like, how did you figure it out and navigate that?
Yeah, it's interesting because with a psychologist mom, right? You understand this.
Yeah.
With we had a couples therapist at the time. I haven't really done much personal therapy. But I do believe in couples therapy regardless of if there's a problem or not. And I actually
Same.
think we need to get back into it. Um and like a really supportive partner, like basically with like all the tools. I in hindsight think I could have been like, something's not right, like even like 6 7 months pregnant.
Yeah.
I felt insane dread that manifested in work stress and how I was going to keep the business going, while also having a baby. And I remember just being like, oh, people are laughing, like I guess I should laugh now, just like really dark.
Yeah.
And then the baby came, and things weren't good emotionally. I think like it was being pointed out to me from my husband, who was probably the closest to me, but also just like I'm usually a happy, I go dark sometimes, like that's my personality, but like
Yeah. You're a New
overall,
Yorker.
yeah, exactly. I'm like a happy person. And there was a moment I was driving home from Long Island City, and I remember it like so clearly, and I was like, like if that car were to hit me and I were to die, like I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world. And I remember being like, that's probably not normal.
Yeah. That's not
and
great.
and so now I talk about it all the time because I went on Zoloft. Zoloft saved me, and now for this pregnancy, I have no dread. You know, obviously I'm anxious and I have the normal
Yeah. You're not a
feelings that
robot.
come, but I'm not a robot. And also I feel uh what's the word, like capable. I believe in myself to be capable to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think Zoloft gave me that perspective, also experience.
Yes.
Right, like I don't hate my son today, I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah. Well,
So
and also like to your point about Zoloft and the experience, like you know that being on Zoloft in your pregnancy is going to be okay. like in the sense of the first time when you're pregnant, especially we were both pregnant in a pandemic, right? Every little thing, twinge, whatever, is scary because it's your first time being pregnant and it's in a fucking pandemic. So like there isn't the same level of oversight.
No roadmap for a pandemic pregnancy.
Really not. So like now you're not in a pandemic, you're pregnant, you have built up a sense of like confidence in your ability to parent and be a human. And you're like, okay, I actually know that this is the best thing for me and my future child and the one I currently have and my husband.
And exactly. And so yeah, two very different experiences, but just to make sure I answer the question, it was for sure pointed out to me and also like felt internally.
So for me, it's interesting that you say that you haven't done much personal therapy. For the longest time, again, growing up as a daughter of a psychologist, was just like, I think therapy is amazing. I just don't need it. Like for me, like I just don't need it. Like I can diagnose myself. Like I got daddy issues. I got this and da 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 da. And I sort of was like, I don't need it. And then at some point, I think around the time that I got engaged, I was like, oh, like this is bringing up a lot of stuff, like getting married. Like I think I probably should. I have never been to therapy and not bawled my fucking eyeballs out now. And now I I went for a while, then I stopped, then I started again. And now, similarly love couples therapy, whether or not you are having challenges in your relationship. We do that on occasion. But for me, I was like, oh, fuck, there's so many things that I thought I was like really well adjusted. And it's actually like been part of this whole act that I feel like I need to have my shit together for everybody else rather than like figuring out how to fall apart and build back from that. I've just been this like, I call myself, or my husband calls me the Ukrainian tank. Like that I just keep going, like shit's falling off and I'm still going forward. Whereas he's like a delicate Swiss made watch where if like the humidity's off, he falls apart.
Like if it rains, we have an issue.
Right. And like those are his descriptions, not mine, but it's totally true. And my therapist now, who I really like, she's kind of like a tough son of a in a best possible way.
I need that.
Yeah, like I can't do like, let's just breathe together. I need somebody who's going to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
And she very much is. And she's like, I think the tank thing sucks. Like you should stop being a tank.
Yeah.
She was like, also like, a lot of feelings are wrong. So like you can have a feeling and also acknowledge that it's not from right now, it's from somewhere else. Yeah. So it's just very funny because I very much, and I've encouraged other friends who, one of whom I know listens every week, you know who you are, to start therapy. And this person recently did. And they were just like, oh wait, this is actually really great because somebody has to listen to me for an hour and take my shit seriously.
Can we just have like a round of applause for that supportive friend listening every week?
Yes.
I love that.
Oh, yes. And you know what's actually really fun, and you will appreciate this as somebody, and I am now an Auggie user myself in support of you, but when I find out my friends are listening to the pod and I had no idea, and they'll just like offhandedly mention an episode, nothing makes me prouder. Like, it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, I know. It's tough when it goes the other way.
Yeah. It's like when there's just like the crickets.
Yeah, the crickets, or like I just like don't know what you're talking about, or like Auggie is for a very specific type of parent, and that's not all of my friends, and I understand that. Yeah. But I'm like, download the fucking app.
Download the app. Like, let's get the numbers. Like, give me the 5 stars, guys. If you're listening to this and you have not gone onto your respective pod platform and you listen more than once, like, go give me some stars. Give a review. It helps. Okay?
Yeah. That's my job it's
free.
This.
Yeah, it's free. Exactly. It's free, guys. Yeah. So serial entrepreneur Lily starts in life. When did your parents get divorced?
I was like 6, so like 1996, 97.
And do you have siblings?
I have an older sister.
Oh, right. You mentioned the sister who's sleeping on the pullout. So 2
Well,
girls.
I have a full sister.
Okay.
And then when we were 10, I was a very big tomboy, always wanted a brother. An older brother, specifically. When I was 10, we found out that my dad had a child in high school, and they put that child up for adoption. And when his adoptive father passed away, he came back into my dad's life. So when I was 10, I found out I had a 30-year-old brother.
Oh my God. So A, you got your wish. B, I just got chills.
Yeah. Got my wish.
What was that experience like for you?
You know, it sounds like you have some things with your dad. We all have things with our dad. I spent every Monday and every other weekend with my dad, so much less time than I did with my mom. And so Albert, that's his name, came into my life kind of, obviously less than my dad did, because I wasn't seeing Albert all the time, but I was already seeing my dad less, and then Albert less than that. So, like, he was at my bat mitzvah, but not much more than that.
Yeah. Wow. So, okay, so, hey, Albert, how old's Albert now?
54.
Hey, Albert.
Crazy.
But, you know, stranger things have happened on this podcast, honestly. Truly. Listen to the Atusa episode. That will rock your world. But you grew up with your sister. You guys are doing the same custody schedule?
Yep.
So you're together all the time?
All together all the time, except she's 4 years older, so we didn't overlap in high school, and then she went to college. And so 4 years I'm spending now on the pull-out couch in the living room.
Rough. Just lonely, kind of.
Lonely. I had hi David, good friend now, a boyfriend from high school who lived the complete opposite life that I did. And so I was like living these like two different world lives. And
in terms of affluence or parents being together? Or?
Well, both.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we spent like a month at the Hotel du Cap in the south of France, like with his family, and then I would like come home and sleep on the couch in the living room. But wonderful people, just like different levels of wealth. And so that fucked with me, and that made me not want to be at my dad's house.
Right. Because it just wasn't, you knew what another reality could look like.
Exactly. And like, it was more comfortable.
Also, let's just say Maine and New York have no business hanging out with each other.
Yeah. He now lives in Williamsburg, Virginia, and like I've never had a better relationship with him, and he's never been happier.
Right. Yeah. He didn't belong there.
No. And
like in the woods eating lobster or some shit. I don't know.
Exactly. And like playing pickleball and having cost of living being like really low like that. He wants to reuse wrapping paper and like get a deal and shop at the stores where he wants to shop because they're going out of business. Like, that is him, and that is not New York's not a good place for someone like that.
It really is not a good place for a bargain.
Yeah. So there's no deal hunting happening here.
Definitely not. Very much the opposite. It's like, how much could I possibly spend on a donut?
Literally. It's like these idiots.
Let's make a cronut and charge $20 for it or whatever it was. So, okay, so you're growing up.
Now you sound like Samson and my oatmeal.
Listen, I don't judge a pregnant woman for having whatever the fuck she wants, okay, Samson? I'm not on your side on this. In the playback, okay. Samson, I'm not on your side.
Okay.
So, you're growing up in this kind of confusing dissonance between your home life, your school life, and your friends there. You mentioned that, like, a rigorous academic environment was not necessarily the best for you.
Yeah.
What sorts of things were you into as little Lily? What did you enjoy doing?
Mischief. And being resourceful and thinking outside the box. I had such ADD, and it was so obvious. And I was just like a freaking Tasmanian devil, but like in a really cute and creative way. And I liked sports and friends. I've always had really, really, really good friends. The problem, I think, for me and Dalton was it wasn't like a lack of smart. It was a lack of that type of smart, and I would work my ass off, like literally kill myself and get like a C+ or a B or a B-, and like my friends would work like a fraction of as hard as I was, or at the time. I mean, they were working hard, but like, and like go to Harvard, you know, and I was just like, what's happening here? And then I went to GW, and I would say like I crushed it there because like it was so much easier than Dalton. And I discovered, we can get into it, I'll go back to Little Lily, but like hospitality, and realized like, whoa, I like have a group of people that understand the type of way that I think.
And did you know what an entrepreneur was? Like, was that something on your bingo card of what you might do with yourself?
Yes. So, like, always doing the lemonade stands, always doing the hustle, always shout out again to David. David,
we love you, David.
He's great. You should check out his restaurants in the city. One's amazing called Chez Fifi.
I've heard of Chez Fifi.
It's the top restaurant right now. He also has a restaurant called Sushi Naz. And then he has a pizza spot in
David.
Miami. So, yeah, crushing. We love David. He's a good guy. And there's like this phenomenon in the city where you throw these ridiculous warehouse parties and you get people from all over the city from different schools to sell tickets on your behalf and then show up. And David would throw these parties and make a killing. And then when David graduated, I kind of like took over for him, and we had these like kids selling tickets on our behalf. We would like make like 10 grand in a night. Wow. And so I would throw these parties like constantly. It's honestly like still a big chunk of my savings.
Incredible. Also, dare we say early signs of building community?
Maybe. I think. Definitely bringing getting people to do things that I want. Yeah, bringing people together for sure.
Come on, Lily. I'm trying to foreshadow.
Connect the dots. And then I went to college and I interned every summer for Danny Meyer for Union Square Hospitality Group. And I was hostessing and working at restaurants also, and just like trying to figure it out. But I loved making my own money and being in control of that.
Wait, is Coffee Shop one of the Union Square ones?
Are you talking about Daily Provision?
No, it was the coffee shop. It was like on the court in Union Square.
Oh no, but classic Amazing Diner where I saw multiple cockroaches.
Oh, I tried to get a job there in college, and it was just like there's a lot of stories like this when I was in New York in college, but like I would go to apply to be a hostess or a waitress or whatever, and like everyone else in the line was clearly a model.
Yeah, like,
and I was clearly not.
I feel like somebody like also has served me once there, like on rollerblades.
100, like it was that kind of shit. Like I think they may have even asked me if I knew how to skate. Like I just had no, like everyone else had headshots for the hostess position sort of thing.
It's funny that you say that because my first hostess job wasn't far away from there. It was on the Sushi Samba on Park Avenue South.
I know that location well.
Yeah.
I did end up hostessing a lot, like a year after that at a place in the meatpacking district. And I definitely got sent home more than once because the owner didn't like my outfit.
Fuck off, dude.
Yeah, he wasn't the nicest. Okay, so hospitality, you've kind of always had the hustle in your veins. You graduate. Yep. When does Samson enter the picture?
Good question. So, bye, David. Hello, college. I had like a college boyfriend.
Bye, David, as a romantic partner.
Yeah.
David as friend for life.
Yeah, and when I have this baby, I will be at Chez Fifi, so thank you. And Fifi was his mom, who we love.
Oh, sweet.
And passed away, so she's amazing. Was amazing. Samson and I met in 2013. I was a senior at GW. It was very early days of Tinder. This may resonate to you. I don't know when you graduated, but we had college ambassadors from Tinder like on our campus telling everyone to download it, so everyone was. And Samson he was 2 years older, but coincidentally also from the city, and also went to GW, but we didn't know each other. And although he is in the background hooking up with my big in a photo that we've discovered.
Oh my God, incredible. I hope you frame it, put in the bathroom. Amazing.
It's not framed, but it is favorited.
Okay.
And he was in DC for Obama's
inauguration.
It must have been his second inauguration. Miss you, Obama.
Yeah.
And and the app was still registering him in DC, so it glitched and we matched. and we like hit it off, and I went home to New York and we had a date at the Commodore in Brooklyn. We had fried chicken. I don't know if you've been, but it's classic spot.
Very good.
And so that's February of my senior year. In May, or like May, June, July, whatever, I move home, but then we moved in together.
I love it. I love it. So you are younger than me, and how I know this is because of this Tinder story. So when I started college, it was the first year of Facebook.
Oh, cool.
2004. And that's what the year I started. And so like, I can't imagine being in college with fucking online dating. That would have been so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really experience it because Samson was my first date on Tinder, and
wow.
You know,
I wish it had been around, especially at NYU, because it was really hard you meet a lot of gay best friends, but not very many eligible bachelors.
Oh yeah, I was the complete opposite. I was such a fucking slut.
I wish I had done that.
Yeah.
Now it's too late.
Yeah.
It's okay. I can still be fun without being a hoe.
Yeah. You could dress like a hoe.
Working on it. That's like a goal for this year. So you guys meet. Given your history with your parents being divorced, complicated relationship with dad, complicated relationship with like wealth and family dynamics, did you have an idea of like what kind of family you might want to have for yourself one day?
Yeah, like sturdy.
Yeah.
Steady.
And was that part of your like screening criteria for dating?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I liked that when I sat down at the Commodore, he was wearing a Rolex. I was like, nice.
Right.
No, just kidding. But
kidding, not kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
Kidding, not kidding.
He had a tumultuous family history similar to me, and also he probably grew up like a little bit more better, like well off than I did, but also like not the richest kid at a private school, which I think just like if you have that experience, like it kind of bonds you in a unique way. And just our values were really similar, and it was always just easy.
Yeah.
Nothing was hard with Samson. Like, you know, we supported each other, and we just like have so much fun together. And,
what do you fight about though?
Oh, I mean, last night literally like hysterical in bed. We fight. Don't worry. I'm like, do more, dude. Do more. But he's just so even and so rational to I am like a volcano. Like I like to call myself organized chaos, but I am chaos. Like it is, and I'm sure your brain is like this too. It is exhausting being in my brain. I can't imagine. Then like I'm a huge weed fan, and so not now obviously, but I can't wait. And literally like we'll smoke, and it like puts me into such a business mindset where I'm like, okay, see the vision clearly, like this, I need to do this. And Samson's like, can you just like fucking relax?
That
like
is
I'm
not the point of
balls.
this.
Yeah.
That is not the point.
No. So like
it's
we're
like
very
it's
different.
like your natural Adderall or something where you're just focusing in.
It's funny that you say that, because my mom, love you, but like, and should have put me on Concerta in like the 3rd grade. Yeah. And I never went off a stimulant. Like, is that what they're called? Whatever.
What, like an ADD drug?
Exactly. Until I got pregnant for the first time with Jackson. And we got pregnant, like it was kind of a surprise, but like less of a surprise and more just like happened like immediately. Like I told Samson it was a surprise, but like I knew, you know? Yeah. Like I got an IUD. But then I couldn't be on Adderall anymore. Cold turkey for the first time in forever. And when I had Jackson, I never went back on it, and weed became my I guess this is when I use the word stimulant, like my stimulant for productivity. Like not all day, every day, but like, yeah, it puts me in a zone in a weird way.
Well, I was talking to somebody recently, an adult who had been diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. And like, I know this is very trendy on the internet right now. TikTok loves to tell everyone that we all have ADHD. But this is somebody who like went through the proper steps with their psychologist, did a proper full assessment. It's a lot harder to get diagnosed as an adult. But the way he put it to me was, taking Adderall if you don't have ADHD is like having a shit ton of coffee.
Yeah,
Taking Adderall if you actually have ADHD, all of a sudden things just get very clear and focused. And you can tell that like you've been missing something chemically, and then all of a sudden like a fog clears and you're able to like lock in on what you need to do.
That's a good friend and a good explanation. I would say like mine would be without Adderall, and now like I was on Adderall for so long that I don't know if it was having the same effect at the end, and my brain now is able to work in a different way because I'm building a business that I get to control how I work. But before Adderall, or when I didn't take it, it would be like I would do everything around the to-do list.
Yeah.
Like organize the pens and get this and do this instead of just like doing the fucking thing.
Yeah.
So it'd take me like triple as long to get anything done. And I'm like, this isn't normal. But
that sounds like mom brain to me.
I mean,
in terms of where I am in my own life right now.
I get that.
So we talked a little bit about, so you were at the Union Square Hospitality Group.
Yep, good memory.
You're there for a while. Then
no, I'm there as an intern for a while, every summer. Then I graduate college. I make it 8 months full time. Then I start spots.
Okay.
So I've never, this is a big thing, and I'm curious other entrepreneurs who started early. I think something I regret, because I was like, my first job at Union Square Hospitality Group after college was literally like stocking the pantries at KKR, a private equity firm. So I never like really worked ever.
For someone else,
like in a corporate world. And I never was able to see what great looked like. You know, I was never at a startup that crushed it. I was never at, like, maybe if I was in the home office post-college, that would have been different. But sometimes I wonder, would that have experience of being around, like, really smart people?
I'm gonna drop some perspective on you.
Please.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So this, I think, is a really common thing. It certainly has happened to me in a lot of different chapters in my career, and has actually sort of guided my career in a pretty circuitous way. This feeling of, if I just have this experience, it'll make me better at the thing I'm doing. And I think it's a facade. So, for instance, I was a journalist, and I was like, I don't know enough about this topic. I need to go back to school to be the best journalist I could be. And then when I was there, I realized, well, if I want to get really into this topic, I should be a consultant doing this kind of thing. And then as a consultant, I was like, but I'm not an economist, and the economists are the ones that get the most respect, and they're considered the smartest. How do I, And it was constantly driving me, rather than, I think at some point I got to the point of saying, I'm going to surround myself with a community of peers that do things differently than me, and I'm going to pull from their experience, because being in an institution, if you're meant to do something else, and Lily, I think very clearly you are meant to do your own thing.
Thank you.
You just got to pull the best bits from other people, rather than wasting time doing something that's not actually right for you.
And I love that perspective, and I honestly think that's where I've gotten to, for better or for worse. I think my one skill, and this is going to sound fucked up, but is just getting people to say yes to me, to being in my orbit. And then it's like, I learn from them in this way, I learn from someone else in this way.
That is a huge skill. And it's one, if you ever go on Survivor, don't tell people that, because like they'll immediately vote you out because you're a threat.
I think I would crush at Survivor.
Yeah. They always try and get rid of like the sales type people first, because it's like, that just means you understand, you have high emotional IQ, you can understand people. That's like a superpower. And when I go back to working at that consulting firm for 10 years, and always, despite having a doctorate, always feeling like I was the dumbest person in the room, all of those people at the same time were always coming to me being like, Carrie, how did you get that contract? How did you get that whatever government to say yes to do that thing with us? Because they're really good at doing something totally different than me, but they couldn't do what I could do.
I have that feeling all of the time now with Auggie, and it's very helpful to hear, but sometimes you're like, well, what the fuck? Like, yes, but or at least in my experience, because I'm like, all right, but that's not equaling app downloads or like,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
like I'm hearing, and I was talking about this with Samson recently, and I was like, I'm hearing from everyone, and this should be a good feeling, and it is. Like, I'll get on a call with a brand, and they're like, oh, I'm hearing about Auggie everywhere, or like I'll bump into a friend, and she's like, oh my god, I'm seeing Auggie everywhere, and I'm like, okay, that should feel good, but why doesn't it?
Now, how long has it been since Auggie started? And actually, just tell the people what it is.
Yeah.
So now we can talk in a.
We can talk Auggie. Yeah.
Let's talk
So
Auggie.
Auggie is a platform for parents to come together to find virtual community, everything from due date pods to topic-related groups to location groups where you can actually connect with other people, chat, comment, etc. We then pull all of the recommendations that parents share, so everything from a snot sucker to a doula, and make that discoverable on our shop. And then the third pillar of what we do, so I guess there's community commerce and then content in the form of expert-led virtual events in partnership with some amazing service providers like these doulas, lactation consultants, anywhere up to huge brands like Duna, Nanit, Coterie. We raised a pre-seed in August of 2023 and a seed the following year.
She's talking about funding. She's talking about money being invested. Not everyone that listens to this is an entrepreneur.
Sorry, venture funding, which I didn't do the first time. I bootstrapped, which means you don't raise external money, both equally very hard for different reasons. And yeah, that is Auggie. You can find us at Auggie.com, AUGGIE.com.
And there's a wonderful app. And as a user, now I can say, it really feels like you are, if you have that one group chat that's super lit that you go to for all of the like recommendations and stuff, it's like that on steroids in the sense that like you can go to different groups to find different things or talk to different people. You can also just like go on there to like talk shit, like in a funny way. Like, you know, people are sharing funny. Yeah, there's just like a whole bunch of different communities. It doesn't feel overwhelming, but like what I liked about it is it does really closely simulate what it feels like to be in the group chat, which sometimes like not all of us are lucky enough to have, or we haven't found ours yet. So it's kind of like the starter pack for that. Or if you're entering just like a new phase of parenting, you can hop in. That's what I would say from that. It's true. That's what I would say as a user. So now in the Auggie world, when did you start it?
So we raised our first round of funding August 2023, and the first iteration of the community launched a year ago, and now we just launched the new version. So I would say something that you have not asked me to say that is going to be so annoying for you to hear, which is you got to be fucking patient. Yeah. You're like ready for this to happen yesterday. But we had like, I don't know if you're familiar with Health Aid Kombucha. Of course.
Vanessa Dew, one of the founders, came on a while ago, and she was in startup mode for a while. And not to say that like there wasn't success in that period, but I think we're living in this very confusing time. And I'm just telling you what I tell myself. Like this is purely like just the shit I have to remind myself of as somebody who's trying to grow something. Is we're living around perceived virality all of the time. Yeah. Like we see these like overnight successes just completely shoot off and take off. And you're like, well, I'm right here. I've done the work. Like I know what I'm doing. You hear about Auggie all the time. Like where are the numbers? Why isn't it translating or whatever? Which it is. But I think, you know, people only show the tip of the iceberg and don't necessarily show everything that's going into it. So I just want you to be patient. I do agree with you.
Everything is smoke and mirrors. Everything.
Yeah.
But thank you for saying that. I do need to be more patient. One thing that I will... Yeah, that's funny. One thing I will say of being a venture-backed startup, the reality is
there's pressure.
Is that exactly what that means is they expect you to become $1 billion business, and there is pressure that comes from that in so many different ways. But the biggest one, and what I believe to be true, regardless of anybody's idea, when it comes to a startup, the only thing to do is just not die.
Yeah.
And the problem with that saying is it's connected to funding. And if you just don't die, you need money to survive. But how do you get money to survive if you can't raise the money because they don't see the virality in your business? And so, yeah, just don't die is what I tell myself frequently. If that's being kind to myself, I don't know.
I mean, just don't die. It's like we had somebody else on the pod, a friend of the pod, So Super Sam. She's a DJ, and she likes to say #keep going.
Yeah.
It's just like one fucking foot in front of the other every day, kind of like parenting.
You don't have a choice, and like
you don't have a choice.
I hate to like sound like Trump, but like
what a way to start a sentence.
You know, I like literally like that's just to be clear, the opposite of everything I believe in. So that's my perspective on the political climate. But I guess I also said I missed you, Obama, so you knew that. But nothing matters except showing up every day, being healthy, your family, and your friends. Because, like, wow, you can't control anything.
No.
So, anyway.
All you can control is being prepared for the opportunity when it comes to you. That's what luck is, right?
Everything's luck.
But it's like experience and preparation meets opportunity. Like, you can't capitalize on an opportunity if you haven't been prepared to meet the moment.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But also, like, the fact that I delivered, how would you explain this? So I delivered cupcakes, probably 2014, hand delivery to Glamour magazine.
Yeah.
57th Street. I show up and I'm like, I got branded cupcakes. I meet a woman named Katie Sanders. We start talking. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Fast forward. It's funny because I was just texting with Katie yesterday for the first time in years. Fast forward to Auggie days. Katie introduces me to the person who ultimately then introduces me to my first investor. In addition, for Auggie, Katie introduces me to a man named Jesse Kaplan, who is a very good friend of mine and now the COO at Auggie. So is that luck, or is that, it's kind of all stems from Katie? It's like, I don't know if you've been seeing these.
No, it all stems from your superpower. Like, we have to go back to, if you hadn't had the cojones to go, did they order the cupcakes, or did you just go there to give the cupcakes?
Oh, definitely not. I showed up. Cupcakes.
Yeah, so you had the cojones to just say, I'm putting myself out there. I'm going to make you love me, and I'm going to make you love my product. Then you had the presence of mind to keep in touch with this person after all of these years. Like, it's you. It comes back to you and your superpower. That's how I explain it. I don't think that's luck.
I guess. Thank you.
But it's true. But so now let's go back to the parenting piece. So you are building this thing. You are still, to be clear, early in building this thing. It has done a lot in not a very long time. And that's a credit to your ability to just get people the fuck on board and get down with what you're doing. And in the midst of all of this, you have a now 4-year-old. You're expecting number 2. We have covered that you are not taking leave. What are the pieces in your world that are like making this world work? I know that you live in this like utopian building where everybody's raising their kids together. Yeah. How does that work?
Yeah, I actually love this question because sometimes speaking about like smoke and mirrors, I'm like, how do people do it all? So I love talking about this.
Yeah.
1, we will have a baby nurse for 5 weeks. That will be very helpful. We are just doing nights this time, so TBD what the days look like. We just like don't have the space for another human 24/7. I have an amazing partner in my nanny. Her name is Miss Kitty.
Shout out Miss Kitty. You sound fun.
Yeah, she is fun. And she is the gift that keeps on giving. I think and I should have brought it up earlier, but a big reason why I think I also feel differently this time around with this pregnancy is because I know I have her to fall back on. So she will be with my toddler. My husband will take 6 weeks and be around, and then come September, Jackson, the toddler, goes to school, and Miss Kitty takes on an infant. My parents on both sides, in-laws and my parents, my dad, not so much. He's in Williamsburg, Virginia, although shows up the most for Jackson as like an overnight babysitter.
Sweet.
The only one who has. And my mom will pop in and out when she's not working, and Samson's dad loves Jackson. He's good with like a 4+, so I feel like he'll be taking Jackson sometimes for some special activities. And on the work front, and I thank you for saying it comes back to me, but it also comes back to the people that I've surrounded myself in colleagues, and I rely on them a lot, and they keep my world going when I can't always be there. So that's that village. And then the building in Brooklyn where we live is like a modern day, I think I told you, like kibbutz. We have 23 apartments. Everybody has kids at this point, like under 5. The WhatsApp group just welcomed like 2 more babies this week. We did a nanny share with Miss Kitty and one of our neighbors for our first 2 years, our directly upstairs neighbor. And I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, probably from like social services, but also from people who are jealous that I have never hired a night babysitter because we monitor watch for each other.
That's amazing.
Now I will, because Jackson's in a big boy bed, so we like can't do it as, he could like literally leave. But that is my support system personally.
That's incredible. That's amazing. And that is, a benefit of living in a more urban environment where you're in close proximity in a building where people like each other and get along.
Exactly. And I think like a big part of it is we all moved in and bought apartments when we were getting like 2% mortgages. So it's like we're kind of like all in the same season of life because of that. It would have been a different story today. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that like maybe you guys were considering moving out to the suburbs at some point, or that's something that is talked about.
Yeah.
How do you make that decision? And the reason why I ask that is I know there are a couple of people who listen to this who are like grappling with that very question of to leave the urban environment for more space and whatever, and the pros and cons and how hard it is to make that choice. What are some of the things that you're thinking about?
I don't know, honestly. Like, I just want someone to tell me what to do. If my family wasn't here, it would be a different story. Not that, like, they're the most helpful, but, like, it's still nice, especially as, like, parents get older, to be in proximity of them and to give that to the grandkids. But, like, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? It's so expensive. We have no space. I mean, we have more space than most. So it's, like, not... Like, I can't complain, although this kid will sleep in a closet. But I don't know the answer. I've never not lived in a city, so it is very hard for me to envision living in the suburbs. So I guess, like, my ask coming out of this podcast is, like, if you're one of those folks considering it, like, reach out to me and, like, can we talk about it together?
Yes.
And then I guess... Lastly, and I think I told you this, but like Samson wanted to move to LA and I didn't. And so we compromised on Brooklyn. And I thought I would hate Brooklyn. And now it's like I'm never going back to Manhattan. Yeah. So it's like I probably would love the suburbs.
I think ultimately it comes down to people. And when any of my friends are considering moving out or whatever, I just say like spend some time in the prospective places and try and chat up strangers at the local coffee shop or whatever and see the vibe. And I'm doing that now, by the way. Like if I am at a coffee shop here and I see a bunch of high school age kids and they're being really sweet and polite, I'm like, what school do you go to?
Yeah.
Like a fucking weirdo. If I was a man, like I'd be arrested, but I'm just like,
yeah, they're like, where are the lollipops?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like this is my white van out here. But ultimately, I think the through line with you and this whole discussion is people and getting people in your orbit and keeping the ones that you like and keeping them close to you. And I think, that as long as you keep focusing on like keeping the high value, good quality, good vibes people around you, like you're not going to go wrong.
Thank you. And speaking of, specifically, because I would love to work with a female engineer, if you are listening to this and you want to be in my orbit and you are a badass developer, reach out to me.
And if you're not that person, but you know that person, also like
Great.
hook a sister up. I love that.
And also, like, I would hire all genders.
Hiring all genders, but like we you know, we love
a mother.
We love a mother. Like we can't fucking help it.
Yeah.
So if there is one thing that you want your community to do for you in the lead up to this new baby and after, have you thought about what the ask is going to be? When people are asking you, how can I help? What can I do? Because they will when the baby shows up.
Yeah, I mean, I like a very clean house, so if you want to come over and like unload and load my dishwasher, Samson would be happy and I would then be very happy.
Great.
And just be kind to me. Give me grace. It's
Yeah.
going to be a transition. And be extra kind to my kid, to the older one.
Extra kind. I'm so excited for you guys. This has been so much fun. The next time I'm in New York, I'm hoping it will be without my family and we can talk
I'm hoping
all day.
I get an invite to the zoo next time.
Well,
Not during a
the
heat
dream,
wave.
I'll go ahead and manifest this now on the pod. I've mentioned this to a couple of listeners who have reached out recently, but the hope is that we do get a sponsor or two on board and we have like a New York IRL hang.
Cool. Let me know how I can help with sponsors.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
But from all of us here at Mother Life and the Mother Life world, we're wishing you an uneventful, easy peasy, hopefully highly medicated if you're like me, birthing experience.
Thank you. I'm sorry it didn't happen on this call.
You know what? I'm kind of glad it didn't, honestly.
Okay. I'm so glad we are internet friends now. I love following along.
Team, I need your help. If you love it here, please like and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to the Substack for full access to this episode's show notes and join the discussion. And of course, follow me on Instagram at mutha, mutha.life for a daily look at all things mother. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for another Chat in the Closet. This podcast was produced by Mother Life, music by Ronan Landa. See you next time.